From a baby's first breath to their first steps, being a new parent is an amazing experience. There's no greater joy than being a mother or a father. But what happens when one of the parents cannot handle the crying and fussiness that comes along with a newborn? Edrick Davis, age 25, lived in Melbourne, Florida with his wife Savannah Davis. Melbourne, Florida, is a city in Brevard County. It's located approximately 72 miles southeast of Orlando. It is along Interstate 95 and midway between Jacksonville and Miami. It has a population of just under 85,000 people. The couple met 4 years ago, and have been together ever since. The couple had a 6-week-old baby boy named Edrick Lamario Davis Jr. The baby was healthy with no pre-existing medical conditions. Davis has a criminal record that includes 2 charges for driving while under the influence in 2021. In 2023 he has charges for giving a false name to law enforcement, driving with suspended license, grand theft and minor traffic violations. In January of 2024 he has another theft charge. On June 10 in 2024 Savannah fed their baby, and asked her husband to watch him while she took a shower. Approximately 20 minutes later Edrick joined her in the shower. After showering, both got dressed and found their baby unresponsive with formula purging from his nose. Savannah immediately called 911. With instructions from the dispatcher, Edrick gave the baby CPR. Just before 11 a.m. Melbourne Police and Melbourne Fire Department paramedics were immediately dispatched to the scene. Upon arrival, first responders noticed the baby was unresponsive and not breathing. Paramedics performed life-saving measures and rushed the baby to the local hospital where he was pronounced dead. The detective that arrived at the hospital first noticed a bruise on the baby's shoulder, and scratches on his face, but no major signs of abuse. Later that day, the detective interviewed Edrick. He said he gave his son formula, then laid him down on his right side after he fell asleep. He said after he got out of the shower, he noticed his son was unresponsive, not breathing, and had formula coming from his nose. He said he placed the baby on the floor and gave him CPR until paramedics arrived. On June 11 the Brevard Medical Examiner's Office conducted an autopsy. It was discovered that the small baby had a past fracture that was starting to heal prior to death. The autopsy revealed that the baby's death was caused by multiple blunt force trauma that caused a severe brain injury. Other injuries included ocular nerve hemorrhages, fractures to the clavicle, tibia, ribs, and jawbone. The medical examiner stated that all injuries occurred right before the baby's death, with the exception of some of the rib injuries which happened previously. In a second interview on June 11, Edrick repeated what he told the previous detective. When the detective told Edrick about the autopsy results, he claimed he had no idea how that injury occurred. On July 12 Savannah created a GoFundMe to raise funds for her son's cremation and urn. It reads, "Hi, my name is Savannah, I am a mother. My husband and I on June 10, 2024 lost our son. He recently died, so we would be more than honored if anyone can help. We are struggling and not currently working. It's very hard on us, so if possible for the blessing, and the help, can we receive the strength from everyone? Thank you so much. My baby's name is Edrick Lamario Davis Jr. He was the most precious baby. So sweet and handsome. Nothing hurts more than losing a baby. He was also only a month and 17 days, so that is why my husband and I need help for the urn and the burial of my baby. So with everyone's help we would be more than happy to be able to receive that. The GoFundMe has raised less than $900. In another interview that occurred on July 19, detectives turned up the heat on Edrick. He eventually admitted responsibility. He, at first, claimed it was an accident. He states that he accidentally struck the baby's head with his knee while trying to prevent him from falling out of his arms. He demonstrated the way it happened using a doll. After further questioning, Edrick admitted he forcibly struck the baby twice in the back of the head with his knee because he was fussy and crying. He claimed it caused him to become stressed. Edrick claims it was unintentional. He wrote an apology letter that he struck the baby's head because he lost control due to stress, and he was not in his right mind. The grandfather of the baby said the family is grieving the loss of the newborn. He states that they have a large Christian family, and everyone loved the baby. Edrick Davis is being charged with first-degree murder of a child and aggravated child abuse. He is being held at the Brevard County Jail with no bond. His next court date is on July 23rd. Neighbors were shocked to hear about an innocent baby being killed by his own father on their street.
I don't even want to think about it. It just makes me sick to my stomach. They seem like nice people. Yeah. So, I wave to them all the time.
Toddlers and babies are more vulnerable to brain damage caused by fierce shaking due to their large heads and weakly supported neck muscles. Shaking a baby or hitting a baby in the head smashes the infant's brain against the internal walls of their skulls, inflicting severe trauma. A study revealed that a large percentage of these babies will die, and nearly all suffer lifelong brain injuries if they do survive. Studies found that the trigger to parents shaking, hitting and subsequently causing death was crying. Studies show that perpetrators in these types of cases are usually male. Adult men are more aggressive and far more stronger than women. Their violent actions are much more powerful, and deadly. The crying of an infant evokes a different response in the male and female brain. The study found that neuroimaging showed that an infant's hunger cries interrupts the mind circuits in women, but not in men. In women it showed a greater response to crying and laughter in brain regions that process empathy than in men. A recent study found that fathers who murder their children usually have a low socioeconomic status, unemployed, and below average education. The study found that these fathers typically have a lack of social support and anger issues. The study also found that some of these men abused substances or alcohol. Researchers found that women who kill their children usually have some form of mental illness. On the other hand, with men that's usually not the case. Many of the experts in this field feel the need for further research to better understand filicide. Experts feel that prevention is based on a case-by-case approach. The first line of defense is emergency physicians, family doctors, or any other professional trained in medical or mental health care fields. Physicians who provide prenatal, postnatal, and pediatric care should be on high alert for the possible risks. Clinicians should ask a few questions that would gauge the parent's thoughts toward their infant or children. And the professional should ask how the father is coping with the new baby, and other children if it applies. If a parent reveals that he or she is depressed or there's signs of distress or symptoms of any idealizations of suicide, mental illness, or anything that puts the children at risk, the professional should take action by calling the other parent, or another relative for protective involvement. The safety of the child takes precedence over any ethical concerns if a clinician has reasonable concerns that a child could be harmed. Professionals working in family law should also be vigilant in probing when there's signs of disturbed parents who are in tumultuous relationships. Especially when there's separation, divorce and custody disputes. Edrick Davis murdered his own defenseless newborn son for crying. It's unimaginable that anyone could beat a small baby to death. According to the medical examiner, this baby had previous rib fractures, which means the baby was crying because he was in pain due to his own father abusing him. How anyone can be so cruel is beyond understanding. Edrick Davis deserves the harshest of penalties. May little Edrick Davis Jr. rest in peace. If you or someone you know is depressed, please seek help. You are not alone. That concludes this episode. Keep your eye out for the next volume, coming soon. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.